Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let me welcome you to the Navam Full Moon Poya Day Dhamma program which we are conducting. Today is the 1st of February. The topic, the four foundations of mindfulness in the early Buddhist tradition. So this will be conducted by Venerable Kurunegoda Dhamma Lokatero, also known as Bhante Dhamma Lokatero, because he's also Venerable Tero is doing quite a lot of programs overseas and sometimes resident in the USA also. So we are very thankful to Bante for accepting our invitation. He is no stranger to us. He's been doing, in fact, last year also for the Navam Full Moon Poet Day, it was Bante who conducted the program for us. So I'm also thankful to all our uh, committee members who are present here. We have a number of them. We have Kamal Nilavira, Lalit Gunasinghe, Senaka, actually from different countries. Kamal from the UK, Lalit from Australia. Then we have Senaka Samarasinghe from Canada. And we also have some of the others, Bandula Jayatilaka, who was in the USA, Nelun Fernando, who is in the USA. Of course, Udaya is also USA. So we have a international membership in our program, especially on the committee. And I must also welcome all our participants from overseas. They are again, many of them from overseas countries, quite a number of them from UK, USA, Australia. Then we also have the Asian countries of Singapore, some from Japan, Vietnam, Malaysia. So many countries that they are attending. So this, I think, is something that we have been conducting continuously, and I'm very thankful that the Venerable Theros have been supporting us and conducting the Dhamma programs on the full moon Poya days. So with those introductory remarks, I would now invite Bante. Actually, I must say that Bante is also a Thero who's a Rajakiya Pandita and obtained his MA, and also a Yogacharya and a Yoga Shiromini. This is something which I think Bante has specialized in. And in Sri Lanka, Bante has set up a center that is in Bante's village of Kurunegoda, which I would invite maybe later in the Dhamma session where Bante can also mention a little, because there is also a residential facility where maybe Dhamma, those who are Dhamma lovers can go there and then meditate for few days, depending on the programs that are there. So I'll ask Bante maybe to speak a few words on this. And Bante is also a Yoga Shiromani. So that's also one of the highest levels that one could achieve in the yoga field, and a combination of yoga and the Buddhist meditation is something that Bhante is specialized, and I'm sure that will help all our Dhamma friends who are here, and many from overseas are coming. In fact, today also Bhante told me that there are two from USA who have come, and they are also listening to the Dhamma talk. So the Bhante, I would now, with respect, invite you to deliver Pansil, and thereafter to give the Dhamma talk on the topic of the four foundations of mindfulness in the early Buddhist tradition. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Professor Bhatwala. And please everyone say again sadhu 3 times to observe 5 precepts.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Yampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tiampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Yampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tiampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Yampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tiampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Yampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tiampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Atiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tiampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Atiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sarana gamanang sampunnang.
Ahambante
පානාතිපාතා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
නාදානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
Tinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
Kamesu miccācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
ආවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
Savada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
Suramere majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
අනේන සද්ධින් පංචශීලං ධම්මං සාධුකං සුරක්ෂිතං කତ୍වා අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේත.
Ambante sad sad sad.
සමන්තා චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්ධම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තු සග්ග මොක්ඛදං ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං භදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං භදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං භදන්තා. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. ඒකායනෝ අයං භික්ඛවේ මග්ගෝ සත්තානං විසුද්ධියා සෝක පරිද්දවානං සමතික්කමාය අත්ථ සෝක පරිද්දවානං සමතික්කමාය දුක්ඛ දෝමනස්සානං අත්ථගමාය ඥායස්ස අධිගමාය නිබ්බානස්ස සච්චිකිරියාය යදිදං චත්තාරෝ සතිපට්ඨානාති.
Sad sad sad.
Dear devotees and friends of the Dhamma, as Professor Vatavella mentioned earlier, today on this Navam full moon day on 2026, topic is the four foundations of mindfulness in the early Buddhist tradition. So now we have to explain a little bit why it's mentioned as early Buddhist tradition. That's because this Buddhist tradition has developed later on in many ways, like Mahayana and Tantrayana Buddhisms. Even though those traditions are different from the original dispensation of the Buddha, most of Dhamma, most of the Dhamma points still exists as it is, even throughout later developed traditions that we can see. Early Buddhist tradition is, today we can call it, in Theravada tradition. In Theravada tradition, these four foundations of mindfulness is mentioned in many places throughout the Tripitaka. One of the most famous places in the Digha Nikaya or long length Sutra discourses were mentioned. And another four foundations of mindfulness is explained in a place called Majjhima Nikaya, middle length discourses. And also in Samyutta Nikaya, compact discourses, also you can find something about about explanation of mindfulness called a Samyutta of mindfulness. Satipatthana Samyutta. So this is so important in the teaching of the Buddha, mindfulness. Since nowadays that even the word of mindfulness is popular and famous and try to practice by almost everybody throughout the world, we have to go back and see what really the mindfulness means in accordance with the early teachings of the Buddha. Therefore, I like to explain something about one of the sutras which explains about all these four foundations of mindfulness in Digha Nikaya, called Mahasatipatthana Sutta, or the discourse on the four foundations of mindfulness. In that sutta, the Buddha at the very beginning explains what this is about, how it is. That's what I mentioned at the very beginning of this sermon too. It says in a country called Kuru. Kurusu Viharati Kammasa Dhammang Nama Nigame. In the country of Kuru, a city called Kammasa Dhamma. Some says that it's old Delhi, not New Delhi, where Professor is right now at, but old Delhi. That's what I have heard. So that city, Kammasa Dhamma, at that time, people in that city seems to be very well educated and wise. Even the Kalama Sutta also delivered somewhere around that area. According to all that, we can see they must be very intellectual people. Maybe just because of that, even throughout the well-educated and truth-seeking people are interested throughout the world even today about this subject of mindfulness. So in this area, the Buddha addressed the monks and explains about the four foundations of mindfulness, saying, Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggo sattana visuddhya. Monks, this is the only path. Ekayano. In different ways, people sometimes explain it. Some says it's one way. Yes, that's also right, because when you start to practice this path, you would never, reverse or return. You would go further ahead because you would experience real peace, calmness, happiness in deeper level. And also you would feel that you are, developing your insight too. Therefore, no return would be there in this practice. So this is called Eka, Ayam Bhikkhave. This is the only path, this is the one way for the purification of the living beings. Sattanam Visuddhya. Soka Paridhavanam Samatikkamaya. Sorrow and lamentation for the giving up, eradication of sorrow and lamentation. This is the path. Soka paridhavanam samatikkamaya. Dukkha domanassanam atthagamaya. This is the path to get rid of dukkha domanassa, physical suffering and mental suffering, both. Dukkha domanassanam atthagamaya. Nyayasa adhigamaya. This is the path to understand, to get rid of the, understand the method to get rid of the suffering. Nyaya or Nyaya, the method, the philosophy, the way, how it is. This is the way to understand it. Nyaya sadhigamaya. Nibbanasa satchikiriyaya. And to realize the emancipation. This is the path. What's this path? Chattaro Satipatthana. Four foundations of the mindfulness. Katame Chattaro. What are the four foundations of mindfulness? The Buddha mentions all those four at the very beginning of the sutta. Then he goes on explaining one by one. At the very beginning, better we also to mention it, all the four. Kaya-anupassana, Vedana-anupassana, Chitta-anupassana, and Dhamma-anupassana. Kaya-anupassana, being mindful on the body. Then Vedana-anupassana, being mindful on the feelings. Chitta-anupassana, being mindful on the mind or emotions. Then Dhamma-anupassana, being mindful on the Dhammas. So what's Kaya-anupassana? Or mindful, being mindful on the body. All this is something to practice. Practice and proceed and develop oneself and get rid of all the suffering. True practice. So the person who wants to experience that kind of great peace within oneself should practice this. So the first thing to practice, according to Kaya-anupassana explanation in the Dhamma, is to practice breathing meditation. The Buddha says, "Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu aranyagato va rukkhamulagato," and so forth. The person, here it especially mentioned the monk or any kind of practitioner. It may be a monk or layperson, whosoever wants to practice. The practitioner, Aranyagatoa, might be gone to the forest, Rukkhamulagatoa, being seated under a tree, Sunyagaragatoa, being in an empty abode, Nisidati Pallankang Abhujitva, sits cross-legged posture. So this here the Buddha mentions the posture also. Actually, in order to sit properly, right according to this posture, you have to be a healthy person even physically. Especially nowadays, even healthy ones cannot go into this posture, cross-legged posture. Maybe there are many postures even when you go into cross-legged posture, maybe full lotus, half lotus, or any sukha called sukhasana, means comfortable cross-legged posture. One of those should be there. That might be challenging for most of us today. So they can at least sit on a comfortable chair or bed or somewhere, if possible, if not challenging that much, without leaning against any wall or anything. And try to keep your upper body straight and head straight. Ujung kayang panidhaya. Keeping upper body straight is also very important on this practice, especially on this practice of breathing meditation, because it's something to do with your breathing tunnel and also called sushumna, spinal cord. If those points were bent here and there, crooked, then the benefit would be less. You would not be able to concentrate that well, at least at the very beginning. Until you get familiar with this practice, you have to go into the right posture. That's not to discourage the ones who cannot go to the posture, but to encourage the ones who can do so. And with those who have little challenge, to improve that practicing. Otherwise, if you really cannot do it, better you go according to your possibilities and try your best to concentrate your mind. Because ultimately, most important thing is to make your mind one pointed. So, Ujung Panidhaya, that's the posture. So, cross-legged, keeping upper body straight, head straight, that's the posture. And generally, when we start to practice, we would keep right palm on the left, gently two thumbs touching together, which makes a proper and helpful mudra or seal. That also can be practiced. Those who are not that much challenged with that. And so, in this posture and in this mudra, then when everything is ready, then sato assa sati, sato passa sati. This is also a very important thing to mention. Sato assa sati. Sato means two words together. Sato eva. Eva means to emphasize, to highlight. Sato eva. Only according to the mindfulness. Right according to the mindfulness. Exactly according to the mindfulness. Sato. Assa sati. Breathes in. Sato passa sati. Right according to the mindfulness. Exhales. So here, you are not taming or controlling or forcing your breath. You just observe it. You just pay your attention on your breath so that you are going to be with complete mindfulness on your breath. Sato assa sati, sato passa sati. Then it explains further, dighang va assasanto, dighang assasamiti pajanati, etc. When you inhale and exhale long breaths, you know that you are inhaling long one and exhaling long one, or you are inhaling short breath or exhaling short breath. And also, at a certain point, it says, Sabba kaya patisangvedi asasasami sikkati. You have to train yourself like I pay attention, experiencing all my body with this body breath. So all your body would, be sensitive with your inhalation and exhalation. That sensitivity would be detected by you because now your mindfulness is developed better and you can notice every single thing going on in this body. So, not only the breath body, but all the body would be detected and touch of all the sensitivities would be experienced and noticed. In this way, the Buddha points out as the first thing to practice mindfulness on the body is to practice mindfulness on the breath. Without breath, body would not be existed anymore as with the life. Therefore, it's very important to start with experiencing mindfulness on the breath. Then, as the second thing, the Buddha says, then you are going to experience with the body as Iriyapatha. Iriyapatha means postures. When you are being seated, you know that you are aware that I am being seated and standing, walking and lying down. Or with all these postures, you would do that with complete awareness, not just because of as a habit, not like autopilot, but with complete awareness, you would do all your postures. That's called Iriyapatha. So, Gacchantoa Gacchamiti Pajana. Nisinnoa Nisinnomiti Pajanati. You just know about it. Knowing is very important. So then the third thing is Sampajanya. Sampajanya, which means awareness. So, Abhikkante Patikkante Sampajanakari hoti. Alokite Vilokite Sampajanakari. Samminjite Pasarite Sampajanakari. With all these actions that we do in our day-to-day lives, should be done like walking here and there, going back and forth, stretching your arms and legs, and with all the activities, all the physical activities, you would keep your awareness and mindfulness sharp. So you know that you are doing this and that, everything. So in today's lifestyle, we can add this with our daily activities. We can, start with something simple, and what we do as a habit every day, like brushing your teeth or having tea or coffee, and also having a shower or walking up to your car or something like that. What you usually do as your daily activity, you can start with something little, which would take like 2 3 minutes or 5 minutes time. So you can do it with complete attention, awareness, and mindfulness. Then your lack of mindfulness would be decreased, and mindfulness would be exercised and get stronger and higher and better. Then you can add little bit more activities, maybe dishwashing, maybe sweeping, maybe talking with others, and maybe just listening, maybe keeping quiet. With all these activities, you can maintain your mindfulness better when you start with one and add gradually a couple of more activities with your mindfulness. That's sampajanya. Then, this is very famous practice among, especially among traditional Buddhists, particular manasikara, which means paying attention on the, impurity impure nature, filthiness of the body. The Buddha mentions in many suttas, as well as in this particular one of Mahasatipatthana Sutta, all those 32 parts of the body. So you can practice your meditation on these body parts. It starts with Kesa, Loma, Nakha, Danta, Tacho, generally known as Tacha Panchaka. Tacha Panchaka means the Tacha or the skin is the fifth one. So at least you can practice these five. Kesa, which means head hair, Loma, body hair, Nakha, nails, Danta, teeth, Tacho, skin. When you practice this, you have to pay attention only one at a time. Kesa, when you say kesa, head hair, only that head hair, not the face, not eyes, not anything else. Because when it goes together with the face and skin, head hair, you would see kind of beauty there. But when you take only head hair as one category, then you would notice only the repulsiveness of that. Otherwise, it may be beautiful, it may be attractive. Same thing like as you can say about the teeth or even the nails. So when you see it together with your fingers, you would look at it as beautiful and matching and good. But when you take it only as the nails or teeth, then you can notice the repulsiveness. For an example, even though one would say beautiful hair, if even one piece of hair you find on your plate, you would start to feel the repulsiveness. You wouldn't even eat it. So that's the reason to practice these 32 parts, not as whole mass, but one piece by one piece, one section by one section, in that way. So, when you practice that, then if there is any kind of lust or attractive disturbing your mind, that would be reduced and ultimately eradicated. Even in Maharahulavada Sutta, that explains in that way. And so that's about Patikula Manasika. Then Dhatu Manasika. In Maharahulavada Sutta, the Buddha explains about 4 elements. But here in Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the Buddha explains about, Maharahulavada Sutta, Buddha explains about 5 elements. Mahasatipatthana Sutta, about 4 elements. So, you are going to practice meditation on 4 elements of the body. Pathavi Dhatu, element of solidity. Apo Dhatu, element of liquid or nature of water. Apo Dhatu, Tejo Dhatu, element of temperature, heat or cold. Then Pathavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu, element of air. One would start to practice this Dhatu Manasikara. recollection on the elements. That would be practiced. In these ways, you can practice uh, mindfulness on the body. And also, all this can be practiced while, thinking about one's own body. And even when you see the body in the symmetry, you can get even that dead body as your subject of meditation. At the time of the Buddha, the dead bodies would not be, cremated or so that much, that often, unless very special, the body of very special person. And so most of the dead bodies would be, thrown in the cemeteries. So one would go there and see newly thrown dead bodies, and one would compare it. The same, fate will be there with this body too. So-called I, me, and mine. The same fate will be there. And the person the practitioner would go further and see another dead body, which has been there few days, and maybe 7, 8, 9 days, maybe few weeks, ultimately long time, which was there. Now it's only skeleton here and there, on the parts of the skeleton. So the practitioner would think, the same fate with this body too. This is the nature of the body. And ultimately, the person would realize this body is going to completely mix with the earth, sand, and the nature. This will become the part of nature, mix with the nature. That would be seen and understood by practicing this. So even though we don't get that opportunity to go and see that kind of dead bodies for majority of us, we can at least, when you go to a funeral, you can keep on looking at the dead body and contemplate that the same fate will be with this body too. So-called I also will have to lie down the same way, maybe with a well-decorated way, in a beautiful dress, but still without moving, without talking, just the body, not a person anymore. Similarly, this so-called I, me, also will have to lie down. So in that way, you would be able to practice meditation or recollection on this body. Kaya kayanupassi viharati. This viharati, this word is also very important. Viharati means you live. So you are going to live contemplating in this way your life. So this practice will be not part of your life, will be your life. So your lifestyle will be practice of this meditation. That also because you don't need any special occasion, any special dress, or any preparation to practice it. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you can practice it. You can really understand it when we explain it about the other, foundations of mindfulness. The second one, Kayanupasana, Vedananupasana. Mindfulness on feeling, here physical feelings. So from the birth until the death, you will experience happy feelings, unhappy feelings, uh, or pleasurable or kind of painful or neutral feelings. We all experience that throughout all our life. Just pay attention on that. Just, see it as feeling, physical feeling, so that your mind would be calm and peaceful. Otherwise, which would disturb even your mind because of the pain. That disturbing and giving suffering kind of pain also will become subject of your meditation, which brings you happiness and inner peace. In this way, you can convert even, trouble making physical pains also to you, one of your meditation subjects. This is also very important to practice, because when you grow older and older, here and there many pains would start. So all that will become part of your practice instead of giving you suffering when you really keep on practicing it. Vedananupassi viharati. Vedanasu Vedananupassi viharati. Then chitte chittanupassi viharati. One would live the life reflecting upon one's own thoughts, emotions, so that you are not going to, discriminate good thought, happy thought, or unhappy thought, or you just observe it. It's like the Buddha says, saragam va chittan, saragam chittanti pajanati. You would be aware of the lustful thought as a lustful thought. Vitaragam va chittan, vitaragam chittanti pajanati. When you notice the thought free of lust, you would notice that too. Then same thing with other kind of thoughts, like hateful thoughts. You would just see that, be aware of it. So that unhealthy thoughts will become the part of your practice. When you practice in this way, these unhealthy, unwholesome thoughts also convert to wholesome thoughts. How? The nature of the mind is like this. No any two thought moments can be generated at the same time. So the hate would be unwholesome thought. Noticing it, being aware of it, being mindful of it is one of great wholesome thoughts. So by seeing that unwholesome thought moment, by noticing it, you now generate wholesome thought, so that you can completely break that ongoing unwholesomeness in your mind and start a new beginning process of your a series of thought moments. That doesn't mean it's not coming again. No. It would come again and again. But when you are practicing mindfulness, your mindfulness also would be applied again and again, so that your mindfulness would get a better opportunity to exercise it. As a result of that exercise, your mindfulness will become stronger, and lack of mindfulness will uh, go down and become slower. So you can improve your wholesomeness in the mind. So that's how you can practice mindfulness on one's own thoughts and emotions. Then the last one, mindfulness on the Dhammas. The Buddha pointed out the Dhammas of Pancha Nivarana, 5 hindrances. So whatever hindrance also appear in your mind will be noticed and be aware of it. Then that unwholesome nature would be faded away and wholesomeness would be increased. Then you can practice like even deep dhammas, like 7 factors of enlightenment, to practice Dhammanupassana. To practice Dhammanupassana, you can practice even, Four Noble Truths. When you practice Four Noble Truths, you will be practicing even the Noble Eightfold Path. So, when you start to practice even a single point of Dhamma, you would practice, huge area. When you just start practicing breathing, all the 4 foundations of mindfulness would be practiced at the same time. When you start to practice work in meditation or pay attention on the repulsiveness of the body, all the 4 foundations of mindfulness would be practiced at the same time. For an example, suppose if you were to pay attention on your breath, then of course that's going to the Kaya Anupassana category, or the practice of meditation, mindfulness on the body. But you notice your breath as a result of paying attention on physical feeling. So Vedananupassana is there. And also, you would be aware of your mindfulness on the breath. That means Chittanupassana, or mindfulness on the breath, also would be there. And Dhammanupassana is also there, because that has something to do with your practice of Noble Eightfold Path, purification of your mind. So in that way, you can practice these 4 foundations of mindfulness. The Buddha says, when you practice in this way, ardently, and with complete mindfulness and awareness, diligently, then within 7 years of time, either you become completely enlightened, an arahant, or non-returner, anaga. Then the Buddha reduces the time, like um, not even 7 years. If you were to practice 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, even 1 year, you can attain such a great spiritual level. Even half a year, 6 months, even 1 month, even half a month, even 1 week, 7 days, if we were to practice diligently this way, in this method, you can attain complete enlightenment of arahantship or non-returner state, anagami. So, saying that, the Buddha concluded this discourse of the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. At the end, it says, the monks who were listening to the Buddha were delighted about what they have heard. So, I think now it would be the time for question and answer. So, please take your time for that.
Thank you very much, Bhante. I think it was really a very, very useful Dhamma session because, in fact, I was looking at our numbers who were attending, and I'm sure the interest was so much that the numbers were increasing, because when we started, it was about, say, 140, and when we ended, it was 168. So I'm sure that everyone would have really felt the real need for this meditation and the Satipatthana that Venerable Bhante mentioned, Bhante spoke of. Bhante, one of the things is the practice now, because we always find that maybe that everyone listens to the different areas. Maybe can Bhante take one example how the practice would help our Dhamma friends?
Yes, actually, all this Dhamma is to practice. We can, I think nowadays, we can hear in many places this Mahasatipatthana Sutta being chanted or very easily available to listen to. That also very good, but most important thing is to practice. So I suggest you not even to learn all this sutta in so many details and spend your time without practicing. Instead of that, listen to maybe 5 or 2-3 minutes and practice another 2-3 minutes instead of just listening. Pay attention on your breath for a while. So even single inhalation, do it with mindfulness. Single exhalation, do with mindfulness. I know that in the USA, with some really busy people, there is a way of practicing meditation for 1 minute, which means 60 seconds. Those who are really busy throughout all the 8 hours, what they would do is, suppose if they were to work on the computer, they would work 59 minutes. Then the last 60 seconds, keep the fingers off the keyboard and put on their lap and close eyes and pay attention on the breath. So after 60 seconds of time, they would start again their work. So during that 60 seconds of time, they would reduce if there is any stress accumulated by working. That would be, reduced. And the person would be ready to face the challenges during next 59 minutes. And at the end of the day, that he or she would have practiced 8 minutes of meditation and can go back home as a fresh mood person. And so, in that way, you have to find a way how to practice. And without practice, the benefit cannot be experienced out of this Dhamma. That's so important. So, yeah, that's what I can.
Thank you, Bante. I think we would like our participants to send questions. One of the things that Bante mentioned is while working, maybe that one could also practice the meditation. So, as I said earlier, in a practical sense, how would one, while working, practice this the meditation?
Yeah, yeah, and also you can apply mindfulness and awareness of with your work, what you do. So accuracy would be increased, stress would be decreased, so that your working capacity also would be increased. So actually, the leaders of the companies and many places like that should, organize that kind of teams to lead their, work in communities and to keep in practice. That would be good for their economical side too.
Thank you, Bante. Maybe there are some of our panelists. Uday, would you like to ask anything from Bante?
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Most wonderful, Malaka Swami Nuhansa. I don't have any particular question because Bante explained everything that's connected to each other. There are four things Bante mentioned, and at the end, Bante actually very nicely put all those four connecting to each other rather than you practice them one by one. I think that's the most important takeaway. I think that explains a lot of things, some of the questions that came to my mind. How do you do? Is there an order or, where do you start and where do you end? It's not that. It seems very clearly, most Venerable Bhante explained to us, one could lead to the other. How is that happening? It's a natural process that should take place. I think that's what important, and I think uh, among other things, one thing mentioned how to
Thank,
do meditation. So that's I have to make a comment about.
thank you. Bante, you have any comments on that? Or
Yeah, I think, yeah, actually, yeah, all those four foundations of mindfulness are interconnected. And not only that, all this Dhamma is interconnected. Once the Buddha says in Paharada Sutta, wherever you take water in the ocean, there's the taste of saltiness. Similarly, from wherever you take any Dhamma, there's the taste of freedom, vimukti rasa, nibbana rasa. Therefore, all this ocean of Dhamma is interconnected. So, no matter what the Dhamma point is, start practicing from the easiest point that you can. And that little practice is not really little. That would encourage, stimulate yourself to practice more areas. and your more spiritual faculties would be inspired and developed as a result of that. So yes, I can
Thank
say.
you. Thank you, Bante. Seneka, you have some question, I think. Seneka, or comment?
I was surprised how he's going to summarize these four uh, foundations of meditation. It's a long sutta, but he had done it within 60 minutes. Kayanupassana, Vedanupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. He explained it within 60 minutes. Wonderful explanation. As well as I want to mention, he mentioned that if you are working on a computer, you can use 58 minutes for the computer and 2 minutes for Satipatthana. And now I came to know that we make use of Satipatthana within 2 minutes, as he mentioned. Not only for private, the home or private using, but also he explained how we use this as workplace also. So, Bhante, I am very delighted about this sermon. At the same time,
Thank
I'm
you.
always
Thank you, Seneka.
joining us each and every week with you on your programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Seneka. Bante, you would like to comment on anything? Or?
Yes, yeah, uh, yeah. I wanted to actually summarize it because, as he said, it's a long discourse. That's in the Digha Nikaya, long length discourses. There are. So, I tried my best to summarize.
Thank you, Bante. Bandula, you have any question or comment?
No, it was a good summarization, as Seneka said. It is useful. One thing I would like to know, just for the help to help others also, how one would know that you have mindfulness on a certain thing.
Actually, mindfulness.
Or what are the characteristics of mindfulness, for example?
Okay. When you are with mindfulness, you would know what would be going on with your body, with your emotions, with your thoughts. And as a result, you would be free of stress and full of real happiness and peace. You can enjoy your life, so to say, no matter where you are, no matter what you eat, or with whom you are working with, as long as awareness, mindfulness is there, you would be living this life more peaceful and happy. Because actually here, our friend who has been here in Sri Lanka all these 4 months, Mr. D, we call him, an American at our center. He says, this body is my home. So you are with this home. So in that way, you would feel kind of deeper happiness when you are with this mindfulness. And if you were to once in a while or so get angry or so, you would start to see it, notice it as anger. And you can very easily let it go. And actually, there is nothing even let to go, because as soon as it's been seen, it's going to disappear. So that results can be experienced, and then you would know I am with mindfulness.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank
I
you.
will now take the Q&A. I think Anoja Vijayasekara has said, I think, stated excellent talk, the best explanation of the 4 foundations of mindfulness I have listened to. It was so clear and so comprehensive. At the same time, much merit to you, Venerable Theo. Then there's anonymous attendee. How can a person with family develop a deep practice like this while attending to family matters?
Yeah.
How can a person with family develop a deep practice like this while attending to family matters?
Yeah. I think one of the weakness that practitioners would have is I can notice they sometimes they would practice as a person, especially the adults, but they would not interested that much about making their children or other family members to encourage with the practice. I think gradually, as a family, everyone should start some spiritual practice. Their time length and capacity and ability would be different from one another. But all the human beings are spiritual ones. So you can make all your family members to participate so that their peace would be increased, happiness would be increased, patience would be increased. And so family matters would not be kind of strongly bothering problems. That's one way. Other thing is even when suppose someone is there to disturb your peace, then instead of focusing on that, you can start to focus your mind disturbed, which is disturbed now. How the nature of your disturbed mind, then that disturbance would be disappeared. Then you can, handle the situation in a more peaceful way, more peaceful manner. Otherwise, you would react the person, and that would worse the situation. Now, first you are now at peace, then you can respond instead of reacting.
Thank you, Bhante. I think that was a very good question, and I think a very good answer that Bhante gave, because I think this family members also being encouraged to maybe live a Buddhist life, to get engaged in Buddhist activities, I think is very much seems to be lacking, because even on Poya days, when you go, the numbers who take SIL are maybe more the elderly people. So I think this would be a good thing that is for the families to develop, which will really, I think, help everyone, and also the youth who are maybe in many cases may look at different options. So thank you very much, Bhante. Then there is Mr. Ranjit Tabro. Venerable Bhante, can you not practice the 4 foundations of mindfulness in your day-to-day living without specifically practicing breathing meditation?
Yes, you can practice. Yeah. Now, that's why all those explanations are there. Especially if you don't, even though you are not practicing breathing meditation, you can practice like walking, being aware of your walking. That becomes eventually walking meditation actually. And so, being aware while you are being seated or standing, the important thing is to be with mindfulness. Yeah, you can, for sure you can, yes. But when your mind is calm enough to a certain level, then you can pay attention on your breath too, because this is very subtle meditation subject which brings deeper samadhi very fast. And so, for sure, you can start with other meditation subjects. Yes, possible.
Thank you, Bhante. There's another question, of course, anonymous attendee. Much merit to Bhante for your talk. With regard to the Noble Eightfold Path in early Buddhist tradition, does Samma Sati come before Samma Samadhi or vice versa? Please explain the logical flow. Thank you.
It says Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. Yes, Samma Sati comes before Samma Samadhi. So, Samma Samadhi, right concentration, would be the result of being with right mindfulness. So, Samma Sati comes before Samma Samadhi, even in this procedure. But even though these are mentioned in this order, it doesn't mean you have to practice Samma Ditti, then Samma Samadhi. No. Simultaneously, you can practice almost all these steps. The development of these steps would be different. The level would be different from even in the same person. Someone's Samma Ditti would be very high, but other steps would be not that much in that way. But even practice of one step, which would be the most easiest one for you, would be helpful for other steps to practice too. So, yeah.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question, again, anonymous attendee. Venerable Bhante, when you practice Chittanupassana, do you simply watch the thoughts that flow into your mind? Or do you suppress the thoughts coming into your mind? Tervang Saranai.
Yeah, not suppression at all. Just watch it, see it, observe it, be aware of it, be mindful. Naturally, oncoming thoughts, staying thoughts, and disappearing thoughts. Never try to suppress. It's not healthy. So you just observe it.
Chandrasena Gajasingha, may we know the address of meditation place in Sri Lanka? I think I mentioned at the beginning. Bhante, if you can maybe mention a little about your meditation center in Kurunegoda.
Yes, here we built a yoga and meditation center named Sri Bodhichitta Yogi Hermitage. But later we add another name because it's too long for Westerners. So we call it now also as Lanka Yoga Village. In a little village called Kurunegoda, not Kurunegala, Kurunegoda, which is in Kagal district. When you go in Kalambu Kandy road from Galigamua intersection, you have to, from Kalambu to Kandy, you have to make a right. And at the 13th kilometer post, you can see little town of Kurunagoda. There you have to go another like 3/4 of a kilometer to our place. So it's in between Kagalla and Navisaville in that area. Kotiagumur is the closest little bit bigger city. And here address is, you can write like Lanka Yoga Village, Kurunagoda, Kotiagumur. And so even in Google address, you can find it. Lanka Yoga Village in that name, Kurunagoda. Here we have been building up accommodations for 50 persons to practice together. And so far we have enough yoga hall and dining halls, kitchen, and rooms. And here actually very beautiful area with streams and nice looking area, almost like a forest with many birds and of course sometimes disturbing monkeys also. Yes, I started this place especially for two reasons actually. One is when I was getting my yoga teacher's training in India, one thing that I noticed was foreigners, I mean like Westerners or Americans or other nationalities, as university students or so, who were interested about Buddhism, has gone there for further, investigation in India, thinking that India is available, right? But they don't find it there. Closer, something that they can find is yoga. So when they attend to yoga sessions in yoga places, which are very much like little universities, they find it very, healthy and calming and all the good things they can feel. And that's good for them, but unfortunately they are not practicing, not going to be interested anymore about Buddhism or the Dhamma. So that's a huge, problem for Dhamma seekers in today's worldwide. So I wanted to make a place where people come and practice yoga and at the same time the Dhamma. So my theme is Dhamma Yoga Bhavana. So they can practice here, study the Dhamma, and they can learn the Dhamma and study and practice meditation and at the same time yoga too. That's one reason. Other reason is there are many, including monks here in Sri Lanka, those whose postures are not good enough to practice long time meditation, because they have a lot of monks also have health issues. Many of them have, some kind of health issues like diabetics or cholesterol, like very young age. Here around this area, I noticed 3-4 months during last 2-3 years time passed away. Majority of the out of 4, 3 of them are under 50. So I want, including the monks, here for Sri Lankan traditional Buddhists also, to teach yoga for their to increase their health condition, and also to make their postures good enough for meditation practice. With this purpose, I started this. So there are some people who, actually a lot of people who have been helping, even in this audience. And Professor mentioned few of the names who had helped this place too already. So with that help of both monks and other people, we have been doing this place. So anybody can come, and I encourage them at least to spend one night here and practice. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante. Time is coming. Can we take one or two questions further, or is it all right? Bhante, then I'll ask the next one. Mahesh Jayasingha. Bhante, at what point we link Metta Bhavana and Buddhanusati meditation?
That means link those two meditations are linked
That's
together.
right. We link, Metta Bhavana and Buddhanusati meditation.
Yeah.
At what point we link?
Okay. Suppose if there is anybody who is not feeling well or sick that you know, then you can very nicely join these meditation two subjects together and to bless upon the person. And suppose like the Buddha is worthy of gifts and salutation. This is truth. By the power of this truth, may my mother or father, brother or sister, you can mention your name or just think about the person, be well, happy and peaceful. May he or she get rid of this physical or and mental suffering. In that way, you can, combine these two meditation subjects together nicely. Yeah. Venerable, late Venerable Bhante Soma, even in Pali, did a formula like Buddha, Arahang, Buddha Guna, Buddha Gunanubhavena, Sabbe Satta Bhavantu Sukhitatta. By the power of Arahang, Buddha Guna, may all beings be well and happy. Like that, you can practice it.
Thank you, Bhante. This is the last question because due to time constraints. Maja Edwards has asked this question. Thank you, Bhante. You enumerated the 4 elements, but mentioned that somewhere the Buddha says there are 5 elements. What is the 5th one, or did I miss here?
Yes, 5th one is the space. That find it Maharahulava Sutta. The discourse delivered by the Buddha to Venerable Rahul. Yes, the space.
Right. Thank you very much, Bhante. I think there are a few more questions. Maybe I will send it to Bhante to see whether we can answer them because the time is up. Let me invite our committee member, Mr. Kamal Nilavira, to pay merit to Bhante for giving a very excellent Dhamma talk. Over to you, Kamal.
Thank you, Lakshman. Actually, Bhante Runayagoda Dhammalokatero, today was one of the best sermons we heard about mindfulness. When we started Professor Lakshman mentioned about 60 participants. It rapidly increased to over 160 participants from all over the world. And being the Navam full moon Poya Day, which also has a significance. And of course, in the USA, there's so much of awareness of the peace talk, walk, referring to the mindfulness. So it was very timely. And your sermon was an excellent explanation of the four foundations of the mindfulness. It's much merit to you, Bhante, and we are very happy that you participated today. And I'm also very grateful to all our Dhamma friends and bhikkhus and bhikkhunis who joined us. And as time is short, I will curtail my talk. And finally, thanks to Professor Lakshman, who is conducting this Dhamma program for the benefit of all of us. Thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Kamal. Bhante, we will now pay merit to the departed and the Devas and close the Dhamma talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, let's write the 4 minutes to share the merits with the departed ones and with the deities who protect the world and Sasana. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. To the Devas. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahidhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahidhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahidhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mang paranti. Thank you very much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Venerable Thero, if you can send some details either to my email or WhatsApp, then I can send it to anyone who is interested to learn details of what is happening at the Dhamma Center. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So much merit to Bhante for conducting this Dhamma program and also at very short notice. So we will also try our best to see how we can visit and then maybe spend a day or two meditating with also combination of the other areas that would be taken into account. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.